15.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fit Down Territory, Tuesday night. You know who it is. It's at No Bowl. The new dad's back with us again. At Stadium Rant HQ, Tyler. At Bahuki, Montana, holding it down as always. And at DL Stewart 503. And we're breaking into Week 15 like it's Joe Burrow's house during Monday Night Football, baby. All the good, great things to steal. Just kidding. It was either that or a Jonathan Brooks joke. I didn't know which one to go with, so I
like it.
But we're gonna talk Week 15. So playoff seeding is becoming really like the utmost importance. So I wanted to read some playoff seeding real quick, and then we'll get into all our normal stuff. But if the playoffs were to happen today, I think there's some surprising things that 6 weeks ago we wouldn't have picked. The Lions would be the 1 seed in the NFC, and the Eagles would be the 2 seed. Seahawks, the 3 seed. Bucks, the 4 seed. I'm pretty sure this is current. I'm trying to double check that. It's on NFL website.
No, it sounds right.
Vikings would be 5, Packers would be 6, and Commanders would be number 7.
I mean, the Seahawks and the Vikings are the biggest surprises to me here. Like we had, I mean, at least when we were doing our preseason roundups, those were the 2 teams I feel like we were the lowest on, and they've really surprised us. One thing I think that really needs to be like talked about is just Mike McDonald. Like that Ravens defense at the end of last year was cooking. They were really good against the run. This year, the Seahawks defense, they just got Ernest Jones. Since they added that piece, their defense has kind of clicked. And I think that we're starting to see that same sort of run defense with that Seahawks team.
Yeah.
So.
And I would like it noted, like when we talk about how stacked the AFC is versus the NFC, there are good teams in the NFC, but currently only 1 team is eliminated in the NFC statistically. That's the Giants. Okay, so you've got a whole lot of mid-ground teams that still have a percentage chance to make the playoffs. In the AFC, 6 teams are eliminated. So the difference between the haves and the have-nots in the AFC, I don't know if it's ever been greater. So hopefully that disparity evens out. But the NFC is the dogfight right now. On the AFC side, Chiefs have the 1 seed after the Bills loss. We'll talk about it. Bills have this 2 seed, Steelers the 3 seed, Texans the 4 seed, Ravens would have the 5th seed, Chargers would have the 6th, and Broncos would have the 7th. So the Bengals and the Dolphins, who I think most of us thought would sneak into the playoff somehow, are out. The Jets are out, have been out. So it's kind of crazy. I don't think any of us expected 3 AFC West teams to be here.
I definitely didn't think the Broncos were going to be this good. Gotta give Sean Payton credit. That man runs a really tight ship. He took a couple years off of football, and now it looks like he's got his whole program together. Everything's running really smooth there, and they're completely ahead of schedule. Also, does anybody know who the defensive coordinator is there? Because that dude's doing a hell of a job. That Denver defense flies around.
I have no idea.
I don't know that one.
That's crazy that nobody can name it.
It's so this takes me back to the Saints days, but I think its last name's Benjamin. His big thing is taking out kneecaps. I don't know if you heard of that.
Joseph.
Vance Joseph, really? Doing really well with that defense there. But yeah, and the Chargers look good. Their offense is gutted right now with injuries. That J.K. Dobbins injury, if he's not good for the playoffs, they're not going anywhere.
That is tough. So let's move in to our biggest surprises, our overreaction, underreaction, and our certified sicko of the week. We'll do certified sicko at the end because we have like the drop and everything for it. So do OR surprise. I can go first on this one if you guys want, but
go for it.
My biggest surprise is like the Bears are imploding. I was low on them at the beginning of the season. Like, kind of came to life, and I was like, hey, Caleb Williams, this kid's pretty good. And then it is getting worse. And I honestly didn't expect them to look worse after they fired Eberflus, but their defense looked like a joke against the Niners team that really has not been that good this year. So I think there's a real chance, like we could be talking about the Bears winning one more game, if that, and losing out on what was a promising start to the year. My overreaction.
There was one point in time when they showed the yardage, and it was just San Fran with like 308 yards. The Bears were like 2. Yeah, like, how is that even possible?
Yeah. My overreaction, I think people are overreacting on the Eagles locker room. I understand like some of the guys been talking and the whole Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown situation. I think they're going to get it figured out. I think they have a winning culture there, and I don't think that's something they want to sell. So I don't think I'm super concerned about the Eagles locker room. And then for the underreaction, I've got people are underreacting to how good Lad McConkey is for this Chargers team. They did not look the same without him. I think if he played, I think they win that game. And I think he shouldn't win it, but I think he should be getting some offensive rookie of the year love. Lad's been cooking. And I don't think enough people are talking about it.
I'll go next. I hate you, Elliot Wolf, for not drafting Lad McConkey. You're an idiot. Moving on. I think my biggest surprise right now is just Bryce Young and the Panthers are like going to be good. Like I think they're going to be okay. Like again, I was a big hater on Bryce Young. I think I'm kind of over that. I've seen what Dave Canales can do. Like this system starting to take root. I think him kind of being benched and like looking at the system, focusing on the system rather than a week-to-week game plan on opposing teams, and like him focusing on like this internally. I think that did a lot of good for for him mentally and as a processor, and it's kind of showing. So I think that's my biggest surprise is just like me being like done with my hate with them. I think that was mine last year, and this game just kind of proved it. The Eagles have a really good defense, and he looked pretty good. Moving on. So my underreaction is also about the Panthers. Why is Jonathan Brooks even playing in this game? Like
that's an absolutely devastating injury.
It makes zero sense. Like originally they said that he was going to be ready for training camp, and then it's week 13 before we see the guy. Like just you aren't going anywhere
in a lost season.
Chuba Hubbard looks great. Like he's probably the best part of your offense.
Yeah.
So like what are we doing here? Like if you think the kid's good, you don't really have to see him right now. They should just shelve he tore the same knee, the same ACL.
I think the argument could be made like you don't want to let somebody take a year off playing football. Like that's a long time to not get real snaps.
But, I guess, yeah.
I mean,
it just got longer.
The nature of the injury, yes, makes it challenging. And yeah, I think they had a lot of concerns. I don't want to say like maybe it's best that it just retore and they can maybe repair it the right way. I was hearing a lot of stuff like maybe the surgery didn't go the way they wanted initially.
Really?
They've been holding him for so long, like they just didn't feel good about it. So I don't know, but yes, it is probably the saddest moment of this week is that we won't see Jonathan Brooks until 2026 at this point.
Yeah,
and by then no one's going to care.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It also like if this was like the Raiders where they like don't have a running game right now, okay, like you're ejecting some like youth into your team, giving your franchise like that rookie like second round pick, but like again, Chuba's there. You don't really need that. Like you need that pop from that position. Anyway, my overreaction kind of ties into what you were saying, Louis. I'm sure you rubbernecked me on this, but the Eagles don't have a chemistry problem. I think that's completely overreacted.
Like, I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I'm just playing with you. I can take it from a different angle. Like you said that, like, they're gonna like figure that out. What do they need to figure out? They've won 9 games in a row. Like they're not doing anything wrong.
I think that's something not being talked about enough. We talk about the Lions winning. I think they've won 11.
Yeah.
Eagles are right there too, 9 in a row. I'm sad these guys don't play each other in regular season. I think that would be a must-watch TV. Hopefully we get it in the playoffs.
For sure. I really hope that as well. These like they're winning games. They're winning games on defense. They're winning games running the ball. They don't really have to throw, but they have the pieces to throw. They have everything they need to be a successful team. And like AJ Brown, like being a quote unquote diva wide receiver, you name me a wide receiver in this league that doesn't act like a diva.
You want your wide receiver one to want the ball.
You want your cornerback to act like that too. Like on the outside, being alone like that in that position, you got to be a dog. Like you have to be that dude being like, yo, I'm way better than that guy on the other side of me. And then you go prove it every play. Like that's the mentality. So I personally like that mentality. I don't think it's a locker room issue. I think that dude wants the football because he's a freaking playmaker and he wants to make plays. So, all right, Bahuk, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll run it. My biggest surprise is that I have bought into the Kyler Murray hype, and after like this long into the year, and I feel like it's worth noting that he's kind of followed the same pattern every year he's been in the NFL, where we're the first half of the season he's like a Pro Bowl, All Pro caliber guy, and it's right when it seems like the Cardinals are like starting to figure it out and turn a corner, they like start to implode on themselves, and I believed it again, and I'm surprised at myself, honestly.
Yeah, I think him and Tua have similar archetypes, and
they're both fragile, and when they're both at 100%, they're like super dynamic. But like the second like they're knocked down to like 70 or 80%, and they're dinged up, but they can still play, and they're like and their timing is thrown off. They're and they can't do all like the little things, and they're not the same guy. And you could probably say that about a lot of people, but with them, it's a little bit more pronounced than other people. But so yeah, just the cycle repeating itself, I guess. And then my overreaction, underreaction. I might not have worded the overreaction so good, but this one's not really like relative to this week, just kind of overall, just kind of the image that like there's no good quarterbacks in the NFC. I think we get wrapped up in how good some of the ones in the AFC are. Looking at like some of these teams here, like going down the list, Lions got Goff, he's solid. Darnold with the Vikings is solid. Like at this point, like I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that, but Jordan Love solid. Caleb Williams, jury's still out. Baker solid, the whole NFC has solid quarterbacks.
Jalen Hurts might be the best quarterback in that conference.
Jaden
Daniels is coming up. All the guys in the NFC West. I mean, Matt Stafford is still balling. Purdy, Kyler Williams a little down. Gino.
I think it's overshadowed by the fact that all the good teams have like almost like veteran kind of travel quarterbacks like Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, like those are the dude, Matt Stafford. Like they're not long-term solutions, so they're not exciting, but they're playing well. They're playing good football this year.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is like you have like the mega stars on your quarterbacks on the AFC. Like literally Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, and Josh Allen are all on AFC teams, and those are like
I knew that was going to get to Louis.
CJ, dude, he's got to step it up, brother. He's having a
little bit of sophomore jitters. Yeah,
he's certainly not as dynamic with his legs either as any of those four guys.
I've seen Josh have midseason slumps the last few years. So knock on wood, could be this year, right now. But we have avoided the midseason slump, but it could be upon us right now. Who knows? But just kind of like saying that, like, I mean, and what the perspective of both these conferences was preseason and what it is now, like we're gonna have some good playoff football this year. Moving into my underreaction is the fact that the NFC North is still wide open with how good the Lions are, and they did pick up this massive win on Thursday Night Football. It is still all to play for 3 of the 4 teams in that.
Because the Bears suck. All right, go for it, Nolan.
The Bears.
The Bears.
My
The
biggest
perfect
surprise,
system.
yeah. My biggest surprise is that Brian Dable still has a job. I'm sorry. I've seen the Giants have a shorter leash with other coaches. They're letting it ride out, and maybe they just want to get to the end of the year and they don't want to deal with the coaching change this late. But what's up, John? Yeah, don't worry, bud. I'm going to get to it here in a minute.
I strategically placed that one then.
But I don't know how he still has a job. It's really quite baffling to me. Overreaction. I have that people are talking about, oh, the Bills got exposed. Maybe they're not as good as advertised. I don't believe in that shit. That's kind of idiotic. The Rams just had a great game plan, great coaching. They just went out there and balled out. Simple as that. And that fits right into my underreaction was how perfect the Rams game plan was down to a T. Yeah, exactly. Never a block punt resulting in a first down. Yeah. Trust me.
Didn't that happen to the Cowboys once before, Leon something or other?
That was a blocked field goal where he touched it after the blocked field goal.
Yeah,
But
that's ancient history.
Kind of touched on that point for the Bills though. Me and Bahuki were actually talking about off air. Josh Allen might be the most entertaining player in all of sports. What would you say about that?
I started it by saying that I think that Josh is the most entertaining person to watch in the sport, is what I said first. And
I thought he said in sports, and I was trying to think about it, and I was like, yeah, kind of. Unless we're talking about John Jones knocking somebody out.
I've got a list.
Okay. I'm genuine question. I'm very, very think it's a cool debate, honestly.
Antonio Brown post CTE.
Okay. I
love it. Well, he's not playing sports right now. We're talking about
He is up here, Blake. He is up here.
Can we get Joe Theismann's leg tendon in there?
He lives in my heart forever. I would argue Jameis Winston, but only when it's cold. Makes a difference.
No. Jameis
only
Winston
when it's cold. Jameis Winston
and post game.
All right. Yes. Any of them that aren't comedy related.
No.
No, straight up though. If we're not talking about if we're talking team sports, I think he has it. If we're talking
Jerry Judy's revenge game against the Broncos,
this is also true. If we're talking John Jones, though, I'm giving John Jones just a slight edge, just because of the physical violence he can enact. Josh isn't really allowed to do that.
Josh hasn't failed any drug tests yet, though.
That is a fair point.
Josh hasn't gone out of his way to make a mockery of the sport.
Oh, okay. That's besides the point. Anyway, back to Nolan's.
I said what I said.
He said what he said.
Way off topic.
Okay, we are wasting a lot of time. Sorry.
You're good. So my underreaction just kind of fit right into how the game went with the Bills and the Rams. The Rams game plan was perfect for the most part. Obviously, they still gave up a ton of points. They were up by a healthy amount, and then they let Buffalo back into that game. They made some mistakes, didn't finish drives. But overall, I don't think the Rams' plan was to be up by that much anyway, but they still managed to kind of game plan late. They had a good drive late that scored them. So I will go ahead and say it was perfect, at least in their standards, just to try to compete, and then they end up winning the game anyway. So those are my over-under reactions. And I think that's it for now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go.
Certified Sicko of the Week.
I was just
care if I go first for this one, because I kind of want to piggyback off of what Nolan was just talking about.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, and there was a lot of good candidates this week with who people could have went with. I see what Lamb's doing up there, and that's a good choice. No, that's a really good one. I think that Josh is in the conversation here, in spite of the fact that they lost. 6 passing touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns is some serious shit. but he also got a hot L to go along with it. And Matt Stafford's another one who could have went here, but I'm giving it to the guy who's pulling the strings all along, Sean McVay. That was some real like elite Super Bowl level coaching. We finally saw what this team looked like at full strength. They've kind of been battling injuries all season, and for as bad as our defense looked, McDermott and Babbitt were making adjustments throughout this game, but McVay was just 2 moves ahead of them. She's a real chess master, and there was just nothing they could do. Puka Nacua was just untouchable. McVay is my sicko of the week.
You said mine. I ended up changing mine after I saw what you said, Nolan. So I'll take Puka because this man deserves his flowers. 17 touches. He had 5 carries in this game. He had freaking 12 receptions. That when that long hair is bouncing off his back, people bounce it off of him straight up. Like nobody can tackle this man. I'm sorry, but he doesn't wow anybody with his metrics, but you look at that dude and you're like, oh, that's a football player. That's a football guy right there. And
bro, his footwork this week was absolutely dirty on the sidelines. It was crazy. He had several toe taps. They were all dirty, man. It was good stuff.
He's so much faster than people give him credit for, and I feel like people just don't think he's that fast, and they don't try as hard. Not try as hard, but you know what I mean. When it's different when you're at Tyreek Hill that you're chasing down to Puka, and you give him that half instant that you're thinking about it, he's by you, gone. You're just like, what? I thought that dude wasn't fast. So yeah, Puka's mine. Go. Yeah, he's a football dude. He just knows how to do it. Go for it, Nolan.
Speaking of getting fed, Jamar Chase was who I had.
He's having the season.
There's different conversation. There needs to be some kind of conversation of where he kind of sits with Justin Jefferson. People always say, "Oh, Justin Jefferson," I think there's a list, and he's up there. Jamar Chase, man, and he's leading the league in touchdown catches. He's just getting fed the ball. Unfortunately, the Bengals just have not won as many games as they probably should have won. Their defense is not great. And then, of course, they get absolutely gifted field position. They made it easy, and Collinsworth called it. I don't know if you guys have seen that clip. Right after they blocked the punt, or Dallas blocks the punt, and it somehow goes back to Cincinnati. Right after that, Collinsworth is on the Manning cast, and he says, I think a Jamar Chase touchdown's coming right here.
Yeah, I saw it.
And so, the guy was getting fed all night long. When you have 14 catches on 16 targets, Dallas's secondary is absolute fucking ass. Sorry. 2,
wow, Nolan just cussed.
I like it. Keep going.
Dallas's secondary is trash. Deron Bland, I'll give him some credit. He's coming off an injury. Jordan Lewis is horrible. That dude needs to be in a retirement home. And Jamar Chase is just really goddamn good, man.
The Falcons might have a guy you could trade straight up for him. I think his name was.
Jamar Chase had more catches last night than KJ Osborne, who was recently waived by the Patriots today, had all season. He doubled it, actually. He had twice as many catches in that one game than KJ Osborne had in the whole season with the Patriots.
It's correct.
Okay. Yeah, okay. We'll go for it, Louis.
The silence is heavy there.
My sicko of the week, go into a little bit underrated performance. Sam Darnold, you are my sicko of the week. 5 passing touchdowns. Immaculate play. I would say that was one of the noon games that I watched, and I saw absolutely nothing wrong with his game. I think he was making the right reads. I think he played really well.
Used his legs a little bit too.
And used his legs. I felt like he was picking up pressure, stepping up in the pocket really well. He had a great game. Bounced back from a bad week last week. Crazy. And then I'll go first on the next segment, which is
I had an accident.
You had an accident? What does that mean?
Pissy Pants Player of the Week.
All of our Busy Pants players come from Monday Night Football. The consensus pick of the week is Micah Parsons crying on the sideline, even though he didn't have a single sack in that game. My second Busy Pants player of the week is the Joe Burrow house burglar. Have some shame, my brother in Christ. I think the better thing that comes out of that is
who tries to rob Batman? Why would you try to rob
Sports
Batman?
Illustrated model at Joe Burrow's house, waiting for him to get home from the game, is who called that in. My man's owns a Batmobile, leading the league in passing yards, and has a
Looking like
waiting for him at home. While
looking like Kevin McAllister.
Your little cousin's Make-A-Wish me character on Wii Sports. Like, I don't understand. God bless America.
Do you guys notice how I put Mike McCarthy up there for the burglar? Because I didn't want to go find a picture for the burglar. So it was just Mike McCarthy who just broke into his house.
All right. Let's do our,
he definitely, I mean, yeah, the crime was committed, that's for sure.
There'll be a repeat offender next year.
Grand larceny.
Nolan wants to go home. He's already home, but he wants to go home.
The burglar's over there breaking windows while Mike McCarthy's blowing out Primavera overshadowed knee. So he's
well, he's about to get an extension
every day. All right, moving into Thursday Night Football. Rams and Niners. We got the NFC West divisional matchup. Niners are favored by 2.5 points. I'm gonna ride Niners here. This is unpopular opinion, especially I think after the Rams upset the Bills this week. I feel like the Niners are picking up steam. I feel like George Kittle might be good at football. I don't know if y'all convinced, but he might be pretty good at football.
He's sort of good. I can boss him up.
Kittle as my player, my sicko of the game, but I do have Kyron Williams, anytime touchdown scorer. Pretty easy. It's a lock almost every single week.
Yeah.
I have the Rams here winning. I think that they've played better competition lately, and they've like when this offense is fully put together and you have that play caller, it's dangerous. And I don't. There's still something wrong with the Niners. Yeah, they just beat the freaking bag off the Bears, but as we kind of talked about earlier, the Bears are just fludgering around. They don't know what the hell is going on. So this Rams team is not them. They just went through war with Josh Allen. Brock Purdy's not Josh Allen. CMC is not on this team. Brandon Ayuk is not playing football. There's just too many injuries on this 49ers team for me. I think Puka is going to absolutely flame broil the secondary. And
but when the Niners trade up and get Ashton Genty next year.
No, they're going to get like Abdul Carter from Penn State and just have like the grossest pass rushers in the game. Like they're going to get like a great pick. Like watch, that's what they do. So yeah, that's what I got. Nolan, how about you, buddy? Then Bahuki, you could take us into the next one after yours.
I'm in the same boat here as Louis. I think 49ers kind of got a little bit of confidence back. That game almost kind of felt like in college basketball where like a ranked team loses, they get dropped and they drop a bit in the rankings and they go play this non-con school and they 30 ball them, just beat the brakes off them. That's what that felt like for San Francisco. Now they got to lock back in here because somehow, mathematically, they're not out yet. And so their division is still got a little bit of wiggle room for them. This is a big-time game to go beat the Rams. So I'll take 49ers to win and cover. Kittle for my stud as well. I'm rubbernecking off of Louis. Kittle for stud, and then Kyron Williams again. He's a legitimate red zone threat. We saw that a lot here against Buffalo this last week. I think they continue that again into this week.
Yeah, I don't really hate the Niners picks here. This is a tough spot on Thursday Night Football to be coming off a short week after a game like that. Like, it takes me back to like when the Bills and Chiefs had the 13 seconds game, and it was a game like that where it was like boom, 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 and then and then next week against Cincinnati, it was like I felt like when the Chiefs came out and that like despite this for like the second half, like I feel like they didn't still have the juice that they had after going like that. I think that what Lamb said though about the Niners not being full strength here, and McVay really being in his bag right now is what's going to be the X factor and decide this game. So I'm going. So I do respect the Niners pick here. I think this is going to be a heck of a game. The Thursday nighters have been banging. They've been the best. They've been the
Thursday
best.
night might be the best.
Prime time in general, Monday nighters have been pretty decent too.
They owed us this.
Yeah, they did.
Year's primetime games.
We've had some bad Thursday nighters in the past, but this year they've been delivering, and this is going to be another one of them. Going with the Rams to win, Rams to cover the 2.5. Sean McVay, my sicko of the week, sticking with that one, and my honorable mention guy Puka Nacua as anytime touchdown. Moving along into our mega spread game, Ravens at Giants. Ravens favored by 15. I'm gonna go with the Ravens to win here, surprise, and I think the Ravens are gonna cover this spread. It's kind of a little bit crazy, but maybe not that crazy. I think Derrick Henry is going to have his way with his team and run all over them all day long. And I like Zay Flowers to find his way into the end zone.
Nolan, you want to go next?
Sure. I went Ravens everything as well. Lamar for my stud. Derrick Henry for any time. I think they're trying to feed. Remember what I just said about a team needing a kind of a tune-up game to smack somebody around a bit and feel good about it somehow? I think this is the Ravens, except unfortunately, they got to go on the road and they got to go into MetLife, but I don't think they care. This should be an easy game for them. So, yeah, that's why I don't think that 15 spread is outlandish by any means. But don't be surprised if we eat our words a little bit and for some reason the Ravens let the Giants hang around within a touchdown.
Yeah, going Raven sweep here as well. I think they're just gonna. Actually, no. I'm gonna take the Giants to cover because 15 is just such a ridiculous number. But I think that gets closed in garbage time. And then I've got Lamar as my player of the game and as my touchdown scorer. He made a comment about not running enough. That his mother told him that when they were losing games. He said his mother, my mom got on to me. She told me I'm not running enough. So Lamar, 60 rushing yards and a touchdown.
Love that. I'm going to take Ravens to win, Ravens to cover here just because Drew Lock's starting, or it's either Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito. And, do I think that they'll be able to move the ball through the air? Yeah. Do I think they'll be able to actually put the ball in the end zone? No. I really don't. This Ravens defense is bad statistically, but good situationally, if that makes sense. So I don't think that the Giants will. I think this is just 28-3, something like that, written all over it. The Ravens are going to own time of possession, and the Giants might have a lot of 3 and outs. It just might be one of those games that gets over quick. Give me Derrick Henry for the sicko because just why wouldn't you give him the rock 22 times this game for 180 yards? Mark Andrews is going to score a touchdown. There was talk of him being a Tide Pod earlier in the season. He is not washed. He was anything but washed. He was just not being utilized. And now he's back in the circle of trust, it seems like. And I think he's going to score another touchdown. Moving into Bengals Titans, this is a revenge game for whoever the Titans coach is. I forget what his name is. He was on the Bengals coaching staff, huh?
Callahan, I think is his last name.
Yeah. So
Brian Callahan.
Brian Callahan revenge game. That means nothing because the Bengals are going to win. Bengals are going to cover. Jamar Chase is going to do bad things to the secondary. Chase Brown. RB1, Chase Brown, by the way. Not number 1 overall, but he is an RB1, RB11 overall. Is going to catch another 6 to 8 passes and just do his thing.
More passes than T. Higgins will catch by a wide margin.
dude, it's not even T. Higgins' fault, but like Chase Brown just sitting in the flat when a play breaks down, it's a smart play. Like especially in a Joe Burrow offense, he's taking that check down, But T. Higgins had some balls he definitely should have caught. He just didn't. I think he could have a big game in this Titans game too. But Bengals everything for me here. Go for it, Louis.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bengals as well to win and cover. Chase Brown is my sicko of the game, and then I've got Drew Sample.
I like that.
He's been getting more touches. I feel like he's a little obscure. Do one off for you guys.
Tanner Hudson tore his ACL, so I'm pretty sure that's why he's
it's between him
snaps.
and Gesicki, and I just think they like Sample more and like pass blocking and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I do think
he doesn't pass block. He hasn't done that for years.
I do think that this is going to be a skunking of a game. I think actually Jamar Chase may not have a great game here because I feel like Callahan knows what they do to get him open, and I think they may hyper focus, especially with the tear that he's been on, and say if we can stop Jamar Chase, maybe we have a chance because the run game is not going to have any problems with Chase Brown.
Yeah.
I think they're going to work to take away the big splash play. Let's bracket Jamar. Let's make them dink and dunk up the fields. And so I think this could be a T. Higgins game, but who knows?
All right.
Hundreds of dollars felt that way last night.
I'm going Bengals to win. I'm actually going to take Titans to cover.
Ooh.
I could see this being a lot like last night. Bengals could control this game quite a bit for most of it. And then I could see some late mistakes letting the Titans back in and getting a lot closer than they would really like. But I am going to have Joe Burrow for my stud. The guy is looking unreal in the pocket right now if he has time to throw it. And then I'm going to go Mike Gesicki for anytime.
Wow.
They were really starting to use him late against Dallas. He got some key first downs for them. Just did not need him in the red zone last night. Use him in this one. So Gesicki anytime.
Word. The Titans also just lost to Mac Jones last week. Just wanted to let you know. Bahuki, go for it. I just don't think they're going to cover 5 against Joe Burrow after losing by 3 to Mac Jones. That's tough.
I don't either.
You don't?
Nope. I think the Bengals are going to win this one. I think the Bengals are going to cover here. Joe Burrow's been putting up like MVP caliber numbers in spite of what their record is. I didn't go with him as my MVP, but I think everyone's going to eat. I think they're putting up numbers this week, and and I need Jamar Chase in fantasy playoffs, so he's going to be my stud of the game. And T. Higgins, I went with anytime touchdown score. I think that this is the perfect week for him to get back into the score sheet. And
lead us in. Yeah, moving right on.
Yeah, moving
Cowboys,
right along.
Cowboys,
Panthers. Yeah.
No one's already guessed.
We're all in agreement here.
The Panthers are
the sheet says that we're not in agreement. The sheet says that we're not in agreement, but I know that we're deep down in our heart of hearts we are in agreement here. I'm reading this, but I don't believe it. All right, being super serious now. Super seriously, the Panthers are going to win this game at home. Super seriously, the Panthers are going to cover 2.5 points. Super seriously, Bryce Young is going to be the stud of the game and dice this terrible Cowboys secondary that no one was telling us about earlier. And Chuba Hubbard is going to say, "Hey, I'm the RB number 12 on the year, and that's probably going to increase these next couple weeks. And it doesn't look like it's going to be changing next year either." So that's
my name is Chuba Hubbard, and I have both my ACLs.
I moved forward on the ground.
Like, and then Raheem Blackshear is week to week. Miles Sanders is on the IR. Their number 2 running back right now with John is Mike Boone, who's a practice squad running back. So
he's not even seeing the field.
Correct. So Chuba Hubbard is a true every down back now.
I know.
And I don't know how many of those are in the NFL. It's really a pretty short list, but he is one of them right now. So that's my anytime touchdown scorer.
Word. I'll go next. I'm gonna take the Panthers to win. I'm gonna take the Cowboys to cover in the off chance that Cooper Rush shows up to play football.
He won't.
I doubt it as well. That's why I think the Panthers are gonna win. I think Chuba Hubbard's gonna dominate this 28th ranked rushing defense for Dallas. Not only is their secondary bad, they can't stop the run either. So whichever way you want to beat this team, go ahead and try it. And Rico Dowdle is going to score. One thing I will say, he is kind of coming to his own. He has,
yeah, that's a good one.
He's handling about like 90% of the RB touches. Zeke is pretty much he has been dusted. He has been just snapped away
after this year,
which is weird because he looks okay.
Team meetings, man.
He
doesn't show up to team meetings. They tell him to stay home for games. He gets
he's not even being a good pro anymore. That's crazy.
10 snaps a game, maybe. Just cut the core like you did the year before. He's done, man.
Yeah, draft Ashton Genty at 12 overall and rehab this running back room. Because I think good teams. We talked about this on Stadium Ranters last Thursday. I think good teams should draft running backs that are good. I think that changes, huh?
So they won't do it, is what you're saying?
No. I think the Cowboys at their core are a good team. They've been banged up with injuries. They haven't had the best season. I do. I think they have good players. If they add
different things.
They used to have they were like the team that was known for years as having the best line in football, and that is not the case anymore. I think that's where they have to be focusing.
I think they've lost games because of their run game, and I don't know. I think Genty would be a good.
He is a transcendent player. You can make an argument there. See how the board falls. Maybe think about getting 2 picks out of it and move back.
True. We can definitely get into that, but another episode. Yeah,
we can.
Nolan, what's your pick for this game? Oh, delusional.
Yeah.
I need a drop for that.
So Cowboys to win, Cowboys to cover.
Yuck.
Rico Dowdle for stud. Jake Ferguson for any time. I mean, why the fuck is he not getting the ball?
Yeah. Good question.
That's just me. I mean,
because they want Luke Shoemaker to get the football.
Like Schoonmaker's running all of the routes that Ferguson should be running. And I just don't know, man. Overshown's knee is disappeared.
Mangled.
It's gone. Like Thanos snapped it. I mean, he tore his MCL, ACL, and PCL. They think he's going to be gone for like 2 years. That could even be a career ender if your knee doesn't repair. It's time to pack it up, Dallas. Go get you a win against the Panthers. Go travel on the road in the warm South Carolina air or North Carolina air. I don't give a fuck where it is anymore.
I need 2 more weeks. I need 2 more weeks before you wrap up CD Lamb, okay? Can you hold off the plastic wrap for 2 more fucking weeks, please?
Nope.
Well, just 2.
Wrap it up.
Only 2.
Wrap it up and
so they're wrapping it up, but you're still beating the Panthers.
Yeah.
All right, bet.
Okay.
After this week. Wrap it up.
Louis, go.
Okay, I'm taking the Panthers here. I think CeeDee Lamb has a pretty good game. I've not been super wowed by the Panthers secondary, but I think Chuba also has a really good game, and I think he finds the end zone. Moving into Chiefs-Browns, you'd be crazy at this point not to pick the Chiefs. Their black magic persists forever. So I'm picking the Chiefs here. I do think the Browns will cover because the Chiefs can't actually win a game in a way that makes sense. So it'll be another time expires field goal that doinks in instead of out. And then I'm going to take Xavier Worthy to finally have a breakout game here. I think the corner coverage is slow for the Browns is something I've been noticed this year. Like they just play very slow. So I think his speed will finally be utilized up the sideline. And then I'm going to take Njoku as a touchdown scorer in this matchup.
Word, no, go for
it. Chiefs to win. I am going to do Browns to cover, though. I mean, it's not smart of me at this point to think that the Chiefs can get a comfortable win just with how their offense operates. Their O-line is dicey. They can't protect Mahomes. That changes a lot of game situations up. Plus, this is on the road. If this was in Arrowhead, I would take Chiefs to cover. But I'll take Browns to cover. Mahomes for my stud. This screams a game where he needs to go on the road and ball out. And then Pacheco for any time, get him into the end zone. He needs that for a little bit of a momentum boost from coming back from injury. So Pacheco for any time.
Word. I'm taking the Chiefs to win, Chiefs to cover here. 4 points is not enough for this Browns team. The Chiefs defense has regressed a little bit, but Jameis Winston also just loves throwing pick sixes. He's even praying to God to deliver him from those pick sixes.
Yes.
So
As
I
we
don't
all
think,
should be, brother.
yeah, I know we should all be as blessed as that man, but we can't all eat W's out in the crab shack. So I don't think he's eating no W. I don't think he's eating no cover either. Give me Chiefs, Mahomes stud. Jerry Jeudy will score a touchdown though, because I just think that like they finally unlocked what this guy does well in this offense, and they have him deep down the field. They have him like kind of when plays break down, ad-libbing as well, and I just think everything's kind of working for him, and I think that continues in this game.
That'll be a good matchup, him and McDuffie, just because they know each other really well from his time when Judy's with Denver. So, I mean, that'll be a pretty good matchup for Sunday.
For sure. Go for it, Poogie.
I'm going with the Chiefs to win here. Wouldn't this be awesome for a legendary Jameis game where he just takes down one of these good teams that the Browns have no business beating?
That'd be awesome. Yes,
he's done it twice already this year, but I just don't think that the Chiefs are going to be the team that they're capable of it, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And I think, I do respect the take for Nolan and Louis taking the Browns to cover. I could see that happening because like the Browns are just a weird team. But what Lamb said is Jameis does love throwing pick sixes, and I could see this. I could see them being in like a 3, like where they're down 3, and then Jameis hits a pick six at like the worst time.
If this was 7, I would take the Browns, but I feel like 4, like the Chiefs could just win this by a touchdown.
Should cover that if they're like the 1 seed, you know. I think
they should have covered against the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders are another funny team, and in spite of
that's a divisional game though too.
In spite of their 2 wins, they play everyone tough.
I also will say I don't want to be either of these Chiefs tackles trying to block Myles Garrett.
No, wouldn't wish that on many people. Anyways, and then so I like what you said, Nolan, about getting Pacheco back into it. I think that this is going to be a Pacheco game here, and get him active early and often, and D-Hop to find his way into the end zone. Moving along into Dolphins and Texans.
It up a little bit.
We can try and do that. So yeah, this is that game for the Dolphins. Like you said they're eliminated mathematically now?
No, they're not. They have a
I don't think the Dolphins are mathematically eliminated.
They're not.
They have to win out. And this is that game for the Dolphins where like it's late in the season and they need to get a result against a worthy adversary, and they are not going to do it. Because that's just what they do always. So yeah, I've got the Texans winning this one. Texans covering the 3. Nico Collins having himself a day, and Derek Stingley Jr. taking one back to the house off of Tua.
Word. I have the Dolphins winning here. I have the Dolphins covering. I'm taking the other point that you have to make ever so often. The Dolphins have a tale of two seasons. They either start hot and end cold, or start cold and end hot. And they started pretty cold this year, and they're starting to find their groove. This Texans team, they're good. They have talent. They haven't played to their full potential yet, and that scares me just a little bit against the Dolphins team that's starting to at least figure out its offense out. Like Tyreek Hill's starting to get hot. They're using Jonnu a lot more. Achan's really consistent out the backfield. Then you have Waddle too. Like it just so yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. I have Tyreek as my stud and Achan as my touchdown score. Nolan, what do you think?
I got Texans to win here, but Dolphins to cover. I could see this becoming a field goal game. And then I'm going to double up on Mixon. I love what he's doing this year. Coming off of was this their bye week, right? This is their late bye week.
Yep.
Coming off of a bye week, a rested Texans team, I think is a little bit more of a convincing team for me right now, despite their struggles. And I'll double up on Mixon for stud and touchdown.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Texans here. Obviously, a bit of a homer pick for me, but there's a couple things. One, there could be no Teron Armstead in this game. A backup tackle playing against Danielle Hunter or Will Anderson just doesn't seem like a recipe for success. And especially, I don't like their right tackle that much either. So especially when you're rushing on, like, I think the side guys like to rush from is on right there, left, or the right side of the line, and that's to his blind side because he's a lefty. So I think the story of this game is the defensive line, and I just think there's a bit of a pass catching mismatch here. So I would say I think the Texans win this game. I don't think it's particularly close. Tyreek's not having a great year, and I don't think you want to see Derek Stingley Jr. on him. Kamari Lassiter's back. Christian Harris should be coming back, so we have some speed. So I think the Texans score. And I like Mixon to find the end zone here, like he always does. Moving into Jets-Jags to speed things up a little bit. I'm taking the Jets to win. I'm taking the Jags to cover. I'm taking Garrett Wilson as my player of the game. I think he's expressed some unhappiness. I think they'll make a point to get him the ball. And then I think Brian Thomas Jr. finds the end zone against likely DJ Reed. I think Sauce is probably still going to be out for this game.
Or give me the Jags here to win. The Jags here to cover the 3.5. You can't pay me money to pick the Jets to do anything right currently, and that includes winning a game against Mac Jones. So that should tell you all I feel about this game. I think BTJ is going to be the stud, and Tank Bigsby stole the RB1 role. Travis Etienne's cooked. So yeah,
my biggest bust of the year.
Yeah, that sucks.
Man, I might vomit. Jets to win. Jags to cover though. And then I'll take Tay Adams for stud. I think they're going to feed him. This last week was a very good example of what can happen when the Rodgers and Adams connection is on and it's working.
Yeah,
and then I will,
Yeah, they lose in overtime.
So it'll work. You can throw for 500 yards and 10 touchdowns and lose. Whatever.
This is very true. Very true.
But then I'll go BTJ for any time. That kid's a stud. He should be up for offensive rookie of the year, man.
Bahoogie, go for it.
Yep. I can't take the Jets to do anything right now, too. I'm with you on there. So, yeah, I'm going Jags to win, Jags to cover. Tank Bigsby started the game here. And Evan Ingram, anytime touchdown score.
Word, lead us into Commanders Saints.
Commanders and Saints. I am going with the Commanders to sweep here, to win, to cover. Brian Robinson is my stud of the game, and Zach Ertz is my anytime touchdown scorer.
Word, I can kind of consensus this one if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, we all have Commanders everything.
Yeah, we have Commanders everything.
Derek Carr's out. There's no receivers to speak of. Lattimore
It's
revenge
just
game.
Alvin Kamara.
It's easy.
Like it's
It's
literally
And
just
they're
Alvin
also off
Kamara.
a bye.
Yeah, Commanders off. It just screams Commanders +7. Let's move into the game that we actually want to talk about here. We can spend a couple minutes on this one. Bills Lions, possibly game of the year candidate, even though we just watched the current game of the year and Bills Rams, I think. This has all of the makings of an absolute slobber knocker. All
I'm
right.
surprised they didn't flex this into Sunday Night Football.
I'm so mad they didn't.
Over Packers and Seahawks, they could have easily put this game in on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, this happens to the Bills a lot. It's happened in Bills Chiefs games over the last couple of years where it's been the 425er. I know going back to 2021 when we played the Bucks with Brady, same deal happened. It's a rights thing. CBS didn't want to give the game up. And they're also making it a thing where they make NFL Today a mobile show. They did it a couple weeks ago and took the show to Buffalo, and it got really good ratings. They're doing the same thing again in Detroit, and it's just about the network warfare, and they know people are going to watch this game, and that's why. But I agree, this should be a primetime game. Whatever. You care if I go ahead and run it?
Go for it.
So I'm taking the Bills here. I'm taking them to win, taking them to cover. But you guys who are going to take the Lions have every right to do so, and I can see why. Definitely nervous about their rushing attack. First and foremost, I mean they have weapons at all levels, but I think that this is going to be a really big day for Jahmyr Gibbs. I have him as my anytime touchdown scorer. But at the end of the day, we have Josh Allen, and they don't.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
It's a pretty good reason.
Closed.
You can't really argue with that logic. But I will argue it actually. You actually sent me this. The last 5 games of the year that were played that the Bills were in, the Bills lost every one of them. So
we've also never won an overtime game with Josh Allen as our quarterback.
This happens habitually with Josh Allen. He plays what seems to be like the best he could ever play in his career, and then they lose the game somehow.
McDermott squanders it in small situations, like routinely, and it's like he's done so good to get us out of the mud and to get us from where we were to where we are now, but. It's like it keeps like whenever him and Tyler Bass are so good until we really need them.
Yep, and then they fold.
And Bills fans fight about these conversations. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're the Bills fan. I get it. That's just kind of how I feel like this game's gonna go. I just think that Josh Allen's gonna be Josh fucking Allen.
With that being said, Dan Campbell gets in his own way a lot too.
Yes, but I'm gonna take the better ground game. I'm gonna take the better ground game. And right this second, I think it's the Lions. I think they have the better offensive line.
They're both really good.
They are. I'm taking the Bills to cover. I think this is like I think this is like a potentially 1-point game. I think it comes down to
this could come down to a botched 4th down, a missed extra, but the Lions going for 2. This very could come down to a 2-point conversion going or not going on the last play.
Yep, and I have Josh Allen as my stud, and I have David Montgomery as my touchdown scorer. That's just how I think the game is going to go. Nolan, how about you?
If this was in Buffalo, I would have switched this around, but because it's in Detroit, I'm going to take Lions to win, Lions to cover. This is going to be a field goal game. This is going to come down to who has the ball last, who can control the clock at the end. It's going to be a great game. Amon-Ra for my stud, and then mainly because of what Puka just did, I think Amon-Ra could do the same thing on the same level. I hope so. That would help me in fantasy.
Me too.
But
me too,
I
brother.
do. Yeah, I need it bad. And then Josh Allen, though I do have for my anytime, I could see Detroit getting fooled in the red zone by a read option play or just him flat out scrambling in the red zone and getting a touchdown. So
go for it, Louis.
I am going to take the Bills. I couldn't tell you why, but I just don't feel like the Bills are going to lose against two good teams back to back like that. It doesn't seem like the Buffalo Bills that I know. So I'm taking them to win. I think Khalil Shakir is going to have another really good game. I think he's finally showcasing that he's not just like a slot underneath guy, but he has go route potential. I'm hoping they have Coleman back to kind of free up some route movement, but I like Shakir to have a big game here against the young Lions secondary. And I think he's an underrated, very smart player, right? He's got good hands.
He leads the NFL in yak yards. I just wanted to add
And
that.
I just think he's the kind of dude who's going to bait these safeties, Brian Branch, into trying to like hit him low or do something like that. And he's just going to make a move and go.
I was laughed at for saying he would be the Josh Allen's favorite target this offseason.
Not by me.
And then I'm going to take David Montgomery as a touchdown scorer. I think he's just guaranteed lock to find the end zone. No reason to bet anything else. Moving into Colts Broncos.
He's as consistent as CMC on the 49ers since he's joined the Lions scoring touchdowns.
He really is. Did everybody do that one?
Yeah.
Rolling into Colts Broncos. This is not super debatable to me. I think the Broncos are going to smash because I just don't think Anthony Richardson's played a defense like this. He's been playing well since he came back, but not being able to throw to a whole side of the field because Pat Surtain's over there when you have accuracy issues, like just doesn't. A very opportunistic secondary, a very tight defensive line. I just think this is a game that is going to get away from him pretty fast. So I'm taking Broncos sweep. I'm taking Cortland Sutton to have a good game against a bad Colts secondary, and then not a bad Colts secondary, but a mid Colts secondary, and then Bo Nix to run one in for a touchdown.
Word, I'm same thing. Cortland Sutton's going to be my stud. I have AR-15 getting in for a touchdown.
We all just think Broncos cover.
Yeah, whole fair sweep there. I just wanted to say the stud and touchdown scorer. I do think they're a little vulnerable against the read option in the red zone, possibly. But Nolan, you want to do yours, and then we can Bahugi, and then we can move on.
Yep, I got Bo Nix for stud. I think this could be another game where he kind of proves why he's in it for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then Jonathan Taylor for anytime that they got to have some kind of consistency. Might as well be your running back in Jonathan Taylor.
Word, Bahugi, give us your stud and your touchdown score and move us into Pats Cardinals.
Yeah, one with Bo Nix for stud, Javonte Williams for anytime touchdown score. And then, moving us along into Pats Cardinals. I kind of alluded to what my pick was going to be in the beginning of our show when I told myself and everyone else how I'm surprised that I keep picking the Cardinals. So maybe I'm overcorrecting here, but I also feel like the Pats are going to be playing the Bills next week, and it only makes sense for them to figure their lives out now, right before they play the Bills.
It'd be fun, wouldn't it?
I feel like they're not going to be walk in the park games. And Drake May is really is a bona fide starter. I mean, no, he's been going like that steadily.
He leads the league in quarterback yards per carry. So that's an interesting stat.
Yeah, it's like one of those like good and bad stats. I feel like it's like when you have one of your safeties.
He has nothing to throw to, so he just wants to run. He just got to sprint.
When a team's like leading tackler is one of their safeties, that's usually a problem. Like that says a lot about that.
Al Duggar?
Yeah,
Colts every single.
So I'm going with the Pats to pull it off here against the Cardinals. To win, to pull the 4.5 point spread off. Drake May is my stud. Demario Douglas is my anytime touchdown scorer.
Lou, you want to go next?
Yeah, my laptop's about to die and I don't have my charger, so when it goes, I'm just gone for the show, I guess. But
that's okay.
When it drops, I'm taking Cards the whole way here. I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr. to have a good game because he plays really well against man, and the Patriots run a lot of man. I know he's probably going to get Christian Gonzalez, but do you want to add to that?
I'll wait.
From my initial look at this game, I think they run a lot of man. I think MHJ plays really good against man. I think he's going to have a good game. And then Trey McBride is my touchdown scorer.
I'll go next real quick so I can elaborate on that point. They do play a lot of man. They really do. Until it's time to where you're supposed to play man, then they're just randomly running fucking zone coverage like assholes. Now, I think the Cards are going to win this game. The Pats are probably going to make it wicked tight, and it's going to be another heartbreaker when it just comes down to be like they just don't have enough talent. They just don't have enough talent around a stud quarterback. And he's going to elevate this team. He's going to elevate them right to the point where they almost are going to win, and they're going to lose. So I have them covering the 4.5. I think that's a little too many points. I have Trey McBride absolutely dominating this linebacking and safety crew. Kyle Duggar shouldn't be in coverage. He should not play coverage. He sucks in coverage. He's not good at it. Anytime you see a big play happen in the secondary on the Patriots now, Kyle Duggar's there getting beat by a tight end. We drafted him to handle these tight ends. He's not doing it. So tight end Trey McBride gonna go off. Oh, another thing, the team just lets you do whatever you do really well offensively. So like they get the ball to Trey McBride really well. So like they're just gonna let them do that all game without any sort of adjustment. And James Conner's gonna be your touchdown scorer because the Pats are soft. And he's a hard runner, and that's why he's gonna score. Go for it, Olin.
Cardinals to win here. I'm going against the Bahuki way of taking the Cardinals or not taking the Cardinals when they're the favorites. But I do have Pats covering. I have this being a field goal game. Kyler Murray for stud. And then I have MHJ for anytime. They just are not feeding him in the red zone as much as they probably would like to. They have other guys that are kind of stepping up in that area, but I'll have MHJ this week.
All right, you want to lead us into Steelers Eagles? We only have a couple more left here, guys.
Sure can, yeah. I'm actually feeling pretty confident in taking Steelers in both of these here. I know it's in Philly, and there's a lot of shit talk going around about Philly's team chemistry. I think the Steelers want this one really, really badly to go and shut down an Eagles team with their defense. So I'm gonna roll with it here. This might be a bit of a hot one. Russ for my MVP. I could see him going out and having a baller game if they can protect him. And then I do have Saquon for any time because, I mean, that's safe.
Word. I'll go next here. I have the Eagles winning. I have the Steelers covering. A big issue for my like your Steelers win here for me is that George Pickens is dealing with a grade 2 hamstring injury. He's probably not going to play in this game coming up. And if they don't have Pickens, like I know they scored 27 points without Pickens this past week, but this Eagles defense is a whole different animal than that Browns defense that you just played. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to move the football very efficiently, like with the playmakers that they have on the outside right now. Like, will they be able to run the ball? Maybe, but like the Eagles were pretty good at stopping that too. And I think that this is going to be an AJ Brown absolute squeaky wheel game. Because like everybody wants to say it's drama, but like he's just showing some frustration, and like now you're gonna see a game plan where he's probably gonna get like 15 of like their 25 like passing target. You know what I mean? He's gonna be like 65% of their passing offense in this game, and there's not much the Steelers I think can do about it. My stud is actually the defensive line on both sides of the ball. Because both of these defensive lines are just freaking scary, man. Like, I would not want to match up against either one of them. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, or TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith both beat you in different ways. One's inside dominant, one's outside dominant. So, bye, Louie. Sorry that your laptop died. All right, so we're running 3-man crew here. That's fine. He did not do Eagles Steelers. I wish I let him go first. That's my bad. He had the Eagles winning, the Steelers covering. AJ Brown as his stud and Devonta Smith as touchdown scorer. But you want to go next and lead us into Bucks Chargers?
Yeah, I'll go next. Yeah, this is going to be a close one here. I think the Eagles are the more talented team. I think the Steelers are the better coached team, and this is like one of those like just hard work beat talent when talent doesn't work hard games. Maybe, but I'm gonna lean Eagles. at least as it stands right now, I see them as like a Final Four team, and the Steelers team could be in that conversation after this week if they prove me wrong, but I still feel like I need like that signature win. They've delivered in like within the division, but this one would tell us a lot about this team. But I'm gonna go Eagles to win, Steelers to cover the 5.
Yeah.
Saquon is my stud of the game. I was just looking at the tracker to see where he is relative to Eric Dickerson and the all-time rushing record. And as it stands right now, he's on pace to finish with an extra game to finish with 2,122 yards, and Dickerson had 2,105 in one game fewer. But so
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That dude was a monster.
Saquon Barkley confirmed good at football. If anyone was wondering. And I will move us along into another game of the week candidate in my eyes, at least. Bucks Chargers were all in agreement here. I feel like these teams are kind of trending in different directions, but this is a massive game for the Bucks. They've now got a 1-game cushion against the Falcons in this division, but they have no margin for error right now. The Falcons do have another game remaining against the Commanders, which I would comfortably say the Commanders should win, but Bucks need to have this game right here. Make no doubt about it. This is a big Baker Mayfield legacy game right here. But I'm going Bucks to win, Bucks to cover. Bucky Irving is my stud of the game. I think that this run game is going to travel well. And Cade Otton, one of the unsung heroes of this Bucks team, who's been one of the most reliable targets all year, is going to find his way into the end zone for a big time late touchdown to win this game.
Word. Me and Nolan both have Bucks to win, Bucks to cover, and Baker as our stud. I think the issue we're all seeing here is just the Chargers. How are they going to score points? Is Lad McConkey in the play? And if he doesn't, they're not scoring more than 17 points. I'm sorry. I don't think that they just can't operate an offense without J.K. Dobbins and Lad McConkey. Nolan, do you want to? Mike Evans is my 8-time touchdown scorer. Do you want to do your 8-time touchdown scorer and lead us into Packers Seahawks?
Yeah, I can do that. Rashad White. I think they found a very good, comfortable medium with this running back room, and I can see him being another red zone threat week against the Chargers. Packers Seahawks. Surprisingly, I'm the only one out of all of us that picked the Packers to win here. I have a lot of confidence in this Packers team. They've got the run game going with Josh Jacobs. He's tearing it up lately. If Jordan Love and company can get it going, Romeo Doubs is coming hopefully back from injury. If they have a full team and a full roster put together, this could be a quietly good game between Packers and Seahawks. This game has almost a feel of maybe like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers type level Packers Seahawks game, where it's just late. It's a December game. Two teams that need a big win badly in the NFC, and this just has that feel to it. Jordan Love for stud for me, and then Josh Jacobs for any time. I mean, until I see him score less than 2 touchdowns per game, I trust him in the red zone.
All right, I feel you on that. The reason why
I could see Packers winning this on a last second field goal.
Word. I have the Seahawks winning, Seahawks covering. The reason being, I think I talked about this a little bit earlier, is I think a big reason difference in this Ravens team is Mike McDonald. Homie had one of the best rushing defenses last year with the Ravens. He left the Ravens. Their running defense has been pretty not great. And he goes to Seattle, who, it took a little time, but now since they got Ernest Jones in the trade deadline,
Leonard Williams is balling out on that line too.
The people on the team fit this scheme really well. And now they're starting to play in the scheme without thinking about it. And they've been really, really, really good against the run. And I think that's going to stop Jordan or Josh Jacobs and put the ball in Jordan Love's hands, and he's been really turnover prone as of late. So I think that's where the issues start to arise, and that's why the Seahawks win this game. Pookie, what do you got? And then lead us into Monday Night Football. We have 2 Monday Night Football games.
Yeah. This one was a tough one, and yeah, the Seahawks are a team that I've like kind of been fading for like the last few weeks, and have been wrong about them a handful of times. And I like this spot for them right now, and especially after the dismantling they just put down on the Cardinals in Arizona.
Zach Charbonnet with a massive game.
That's literally took the words out of my mouth. Career day, best game of his career. Hence the term. 20.
Good words.
Yeah, words are hard sometimes. 22 carries, 134 yards, 6 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Ken Walker is still questionable up in the air, but
he's getting tests done on his calf. That's never what you want.
Yeah, I don't think they're too worried about it right now, though. And this is going to be a good one for sure. But I'm going to take the Seahawks at home. 12th man to be loud. Seahawks to cover. 3-point underdogs at home. JSN to find his way into the end zone. And moving us along to Bears Vikings. I've got the Vikings pretty comfortably.
We could move through these last 2 quickly, couldn't we?
Yeah. But Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones.
Because we all are pretty heavy on Vikings. Lamb, you do have the Bears to cover.
I just think that's a regression to the mean sort of thing. Like the Bears got beat so bad last week. The Vikings scored so many points last week. Like it's sort of like a regression sort of thing.
Just balances out.
Yeah, I just like they both had such like weird weeks that they kind of like everybody and their brother's picking the Vikings. So why wouldn't the Bears fucking keep that within 6.5? You know. But yeah, I think TJ Hawkinson has a great game. JJ scores. He's starting to ramp it back up. But Hoogie, what do you think? And then lead us into the Falcons Raiders. Oh no, wait. I'll lead us into the Falcons.
Yeah,
Raiders.
you got it.
Sorry about that. I have Falcons to win, Falcons to cover, despite how much I want the Raiders to win, so the Patriots could possibly slide into the 1 spot. But there's no way this Falcons team loses this game. Bijan's going to take over. This Raiders defense can't stop the run, and I think Drake London's going to score a touchdown. What do you think, Pookie? And then Nolan, you can close this out.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. Yeah, the Raiders play everyone tough. And they don't win, but they don't win many games. And the Falcons like are a decent team that just doesn't seem like they want to win games. So
they might be soft.
They're like yin and yang of being bad. But I'm gonna stick with that theme right there. The Falcons are gonna make this close, but I don't know. Falcons to win, Raiders to cover. Bijan is my stud of the game. Brock Bowers anytime touchdown score.
Bet on that. Falcons to win, Falcons to cover here. I think Kirk Cousins wants a big-time game here. He has really, really regressed here lately. That Minnesota game was a nightmare for him. I'm sure he wanted to ball out in his return to Minnesota, and he did not ball out. So I think he wants a bounce-back game. I'll have him for my stud. Yeah, Bijan against this Raiders defense, I think, could eat. But we'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong. Desmond Ridder and the Raiders could have, because they have absolutely nothing to lose, could absolutely go out and just, have a good day. But we'll see.
They won't.
They won't.
Desmond Ridder sucks. On that note, on the Desmond Ridder sucks note, that's our show, folks. Thanks for coming to Stadium Rant to watch Fifth Down Territory. Make sure you check out our site at stadiumrant.com. And yeah, go check out our articles. We got new shows popping up all over the place. Make sure you subscribe. And have a good night. We'll be back next week. Thank you for being here.